My friends, the swamp is being drained in real time, and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, is leading the charge. In a series of stunning revelations, Musk has exposed how government-funded NGOs have become a backdoor method for executing operations that would be illegal if done directly by the government. Of course, outsourcing their crimes against the Constitution. He called out George Soros as a system hacker who figured out how to hack the system. And now DOGE is demanding answers about where the hundreds of billions of dollars sent to Ukraine actually went. Most shocking of all, the revelation that USAID paid $4 million to who? To Time magazine to name Zelenskyy Person of the Year. Yes, your tax dollars being used to manufacture consent for endless war. When we talk about exposing corruption in government, we're fighting an enemy that's deeply entrenched. Just like chronic inflammation is entrenched in your body, it's no wonder your joints ache when you've been battling this silent enemy for years. Regular turmeric might offer minimal relief, but Dr. Josh discovered a special extract that's 200 times more powerful than standard varieties. This revolutionary formula attacks pain at its source, effectively turning it off like a light switch. After helping hundreds of thousands of Americans break free from constant pain, Dr. Josh's turmeric hack could be your solution too. Visit goldenrevive.com/NNN and check out the free video. And you can thank me later. It's linked down below. Okay, so what have we got? Let's get into it with the DOGE. I love the DOGE. I love what Elon's doing. He posted this picture about 24 hours ago. This is the Senate DOGE caucus. You can see all the folks who are there on the Senate side. Interesting. So the DOGE caucus is now established in the Senate. 22 hours ago, we had this posted by Jesse Waters. USAID has become the first official victim of DOGE, and not a penny too soon. Check this out.
It's official. Foreign aid has been DOGed after John Roberts of the Supreme Court ruled that Trump has the right to freeze the money. USAID staff cleared out their desks today, and Musk says we've just saved $60 billion. DOGE found a $75 million contract for inclusive justice in Colombia. $40 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment. Another $40 million for female empowerment in Colombia. Pretty sure this money's for cocaine. But don't worry, we're also going to give the Caribbean $3 million for being gay and lesbian. You're gay, and we want you to stay that way. And we still had money left over for terrorists.
Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Wow. That's where your tax dollars are going. Here's Elon Musk talking with Joe Rogan, talking about the NGOs are the way to do things that would normally be illegal.
That would be illegal if they were the government.
Oh.
Yes. It basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to... People cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
It's so insane that that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands. I mean, it's actually kind of a hack to the system where, you know, someone can get an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros was really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization, and then the government continues to fund that every year, and it'll have a nice-sounding name, like the Institute for Peace or something like that. But really, it's a graft machine.
And what are the requirements with that money? What do they have to do?
Just really no requirements at all.
So they just get grants and the government just assumes that they're doing good work.
I think a lot of people in the government know that they're not doing good work, but it's a giant graft machine. I mean, people online are like unpacking this,
right?
Yeah, a giant graft machine. DOGE breaking news. Elon Musk says it's time to find out what really happened to the hundreds of millions of dollars sent to Ukraine. I love this picture. Definitely a grok image there. DOGE to audit Ukraine. Time to find out what really happened to the hundreds of billions of dollars that were sent. Another amazing image from the Oval Office earlier today. Donald Trump giving Zelenskyy the hard truth. Unreal. Here we have more. Check this out. Why would Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and DOGE want to know if federal workers are working? Shocking. Internal sensitive data from inside the Department of Veterans Affairs building portfolio. Check this out. Okay. We have, looks like this is Julie Bobalese blowing the whistle. VA Central Office, 810 Vermont Avenue, is a 618,000 square foot building, has 2,483 seats, meaning that's how many staff they can fit. Monthly rent, $27.2 million. Their average logins, 387 people. That's people logging in every month to work. The building's sitting at 16% occupancy, so we're paying $27.2 million a month for a building with 16% occupancy rate. Okay, and the list goes on and on and on. All of these addresses. This is from the Department of Veterans Affairs building portfolio. Let's listen to what she has to say.
As a general, why would President Trump want to know if you're working? I want to share some statistics and from a friend of mine who works at the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I want to be very sensitive because he shared some information that it was internal use only. And this is from the Department of Veterans Affairs building portfolio. All right, so 810 Vermont Avenue is a GSA-owned building, and a GSA-owned building means that it's a General Services Administration, and the Department of Veterans Affairs rent that each month. So 810 Vermont Avenue is a 618,000 square foot building. It has 2,483 seats, meaning that's how many staff they can fit. And the monthly rent is $27.2 million, and that's a month. Their average logins from those staff, and they're pretty packed, my friend says, is 387 people average logging in every month. And that building is sitting at a 16% occupancy rate. So we're paying $27.2 million a month for that building with 16% occupancy rate. Now there's 7 buildings that I'm going to share with you. 811 Vermont Avenue, another GSA-owned building, 266,000 square feet, 1,294 seats, $13 million a month rent, 124 average logins, a 10% occupancy rate. 18,000 G Street, it's a leased building, 207,000 square feet, 1,243 seats, $11.3 million a month rent, and the average logins of those staff is 146 per month, and an 11% occupancy rate. 1100 First Street is another leased building, 48,000 square feet, 190 seats, $2.4 million a month rent, 55 average logins, and that building has a 20% occupancy rate. 1575 I Street is a leased building. Now this building is in the process of lease termination, so that's nice. So the 37,000 square feet, 156 seats, $1.7 million a month rent, but that building is being terminated. 425 I Street is a leased building, 175,000 square feet, 582 seats, $12.7 million a month rent, 60 average logins, and 10% occupancy rate. 801 I Street is a leased building, 18,000 square feet, 86 seats, $1.1 million a month rent, and 8 average logins, and it's sitting at a 9% occupancy rate. So, yeah, I think that tells a story. I mean, tell me it doesn't tell a story. My friend says that they're pretty heavily staffed, and I know every time there's a job opening, he shares it, and it gets staffed pretty quickly. The government loves to staff at the max capacity if they can, and yeah. So, share your thoughts if you want.
Yeah, you just heard it right there. Just more waste, empty buildings, and more. Here's a fake news alert. What's this? Mila Joy. The AP published an international story saying air traffic controllers were fired by Trump and DOGE. Trump fired 0 air traffic controllers. DOGE fired 0 air traffic controllers. Oh, did Trump fire any air traffic controllers? The answer is no, he didn't. The firings were specifically targeted at probationary employees within the Federal Aviation Administration who were involved in maintaining air traffic control infrastructure, not the controllers themselves. Yeah. So just be aware, and that's probably one reason why the AP has been kicked out of the Oval Office. Oh, did you hear about this? Libs of TikTok posted this 5 hours ago. New York City's Summer Youth Employment Program reported to be receiving $38.4 million in federal funding during 2024. Asked kids to submit their preferred pronouns, gender identity, and preferences when applying online. More wasteful spending to groom your kids. And here is a new follow I just found. Jordan, President Trump supporter and a vegan patriot. She had this to say. She just posted this to X. Pretty cool. Check this out.
Nazis. Hi, awesome and amazing patriots. Fired federal employees have been complaining about President Trump, Elon Musk, and DOGE. Of course, they're screaming, calling President Trump and Elon Musk Nazis. They either call us racist, call them racist, or call us Nazis. As a Jewish American patriot, I am sick and tired of these people calling President Trump and his administration Nazis. All Elon Musk asked for were simple emails and 5 points stating what they did each week. No big deal, right? I could do that for school or for my job. But when you're lazy and don't do your job like these people, then that's a problem. If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear. I think DOGE is great. I love and appreciate you all.
DOGE is great indeed. What else have we got lined up for you here? Here's an Elon Musk protest in Oregon. Look at that. Upside down flags, ringing bells.
Elon Musk, not elected, much infected, now rejected.
Dave, this is David Media PDX. Yeah. Here we have more federal worker. Check this out. Benny Johnson posted this. Federal worker says she got behind on all her work because she was threatened and harassed by a simple email asking for 5 tasks that she did that week.
Which the email that came out wanting us to justify our jobs with 5 things we did last week was on Saturday night. Yeah. And I was literally working on Saturday night to make up for all the distractions I had had the previous week. which came from the executive branch. And so I'm working, trying to catch up on things, and then I get that email on top of it. It's very hard to keep your train of thought when you're getting threatened and harassed like that.
Yeah, you can't name 5 things in a quick email. I did this, I did this, I did it. Well, come on, really? Yeah, that just shows you how inept these people are. Here we have this: federal government funding opposition to Trump. Federal government is funding 50% of the biggest Medicaid contracts in history in New York. $1 billion of that is going to a union whose stated goal is to fight President Trump. This is posted libs of TikTok, and let's see. Yeah, check this out.
Or PPL. We may be witnessing one of the biggest Medicaid fraud schemes in U.S. history. New York Governor Kathy Hochul recently awarded a $45 billion medical care contract, the largest in U.S. history, to an out-of-state company known as Public Partnerships LLC, or PPL for short. 50% of this contract is funded by the federal government. This contract will destroy nearly 700 businesses and jeopardize the home care Medicaid program provided to hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers through CDPAP. So who is benefiting from this? Well, introducing the 1199 SEIU, the largest healthcare union in the United States. This union, which was mentioned in a recently filed lawsuit against the New York Department of Health, announced that PPL would be acquiring the contract for this major medical reform before public bidding even started, providing...
Before public bidding even began. And that's the game that they continue to play. Let's keep going. Oh, this is funny. Okay, I'm quite sure this is parody. But it's just so funny. I'm going to play this for you guys.
I'm not comfortable with you today. Bradley, a.k.a. Face Department of Government Efficiency. I'm not comfortable with you wasting tremendous amounts of taxpayer resources, miss. I'm gonna have to put a thumb drive into your computer to see what you've been up to. Oh, I don't need consent to put a thumb in. Not in Trump's America.
Okay.
We'll set up a command center right here. In the day. Bradley.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's hilarious. And the Department of Defense, they're not afraid to weigh in on the 5 things they did this week. They got a new, I guess this is like a weekly thing they're putting out at the DOD. Check this out. I mean, this is all Hegseth, I'm sure, is behind this.
For our Pentagon spokesman, Sean Parnell here. Welcome to our new weekly situation report, or as we say in the military, sit rep. The purpose of this is to be the most transparent DOD in American history for our warfighters and the American people. It was an action-packed America First week at the Department of Defense. The president nominated Lieutenant General Dan Raisin Kane as the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Senate confirmed Army veteran and accomplished attorney Dan Driscoll as the Secretary of the Army. Super psyched about that, and we are very much looking forward to having them both on the team here at the Pentagon. Secretary Hegseth visited Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, where he served as a second lieutenant in 2004. He visited our warfighters and inspected the detention facilities where criminal illegal aliens are being held as they await swift deportation. The UK pledged to increase their defense spending, which was a direct response to Secretary Hegseth's push for European NATO leadership just 2 weeks ago. This, despite a legacy media narrative that the Secretary's NATO trip remarks needed to be walked back or would somehow backfire. As usual, the legacy media was wrong. Our public affairs shop directed all diversity, equity, and inclusion content to be removed from websites and social media. DOD-wide, at the Pentagon, we reject the divisive and discriminatory notion that diversity is our strength. It's not. Our shared unity and purpose are our strengths. Under President Trump and Secretary Hegseth's leadership, DEI is dead at the DOD. And finally, at President Trump's first cabinet meeting, Secretary Hegseth promised the American people the overdue accountability that they deserve for the Biden administration's disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. Folks, that is all we have for you today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. God bless America, and God bless our troops. See you next time.
That's directly from your new Department of Defense. I think they can do away with the background track, but you get the point, man. This is a whole new America. And check this out. Look at this. Holy cow. DOGE News, USAID paid Time Magazine $4 million to name Zelenskyy Person of the Year. Your tax dollars being paid to push the narrative.
In 2020,
USAID paid
since
Time
Trump
Magazine.
administration started its work, Department of Government Efficiency has discovered huge amounts of money wasted by the government. In 2022, USAID paid Time Magazine for $1 million for them to award Ukrainian President Zelenskyy the title of the Person of the Year. In 2024, Politico newspaper received over $8 million from USAID. According to WikiLeaks, USAID was funding over 6,200 journalists across 707 media outlets and 279 media NGOs. Trump claimed that billions of dollars were spent by the USAID and other government agencies on supporting Democrats and their agenda. Trump administration believes that such waste of money is detrimental to the U.S. and that USAID needs to be reformed or shut down entirely.
You see that last post there by Elon Musk? USAID is a criminal organization. Time for it to die. And dying it is. We're not done yet, folks. Don't go anywhere. We've got some more for you in the DOGE dig up. Let's see what Charlie Kirk has to say.
Being a liberal is just so insanely uncool right now. This is the Democrats' new theme song.
We'll fight against DOGE. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh.
It's remarkable compared to 20.
Which side are you on? 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 Man, they just make themselves look like fools, don't they? Okay, Charlie, what else you got to say here?
Dusk. Oh.
It's remarkable compared to 2008, where all the cool kids were Democrats and Obama people and then eventually Bernie people. It's just, you just lived on the left. You just think of what it means to be a Democrat now. You're just a shrill hall monitor screaming at other people about democracy. But whose side are you on? I tell you, I'm on the side of not that.
I'm on the side of not that. Yeah, I'm not going to go out there and sing these songs and make myself look like a fool. I'll just do it on YouTube for you guys privately. Okay, here we have Senator Loomis. DOGE is finding things.
DOGE, pleasure to be with you, Maria.
And of course, you were in that meeting yesterday. What can you tell us?
DOGE is finding things that any business should have under control, but the federal government does not. Let me give you a couple examples.
Okay.
They found an agency that had twice as many credit cards outstanding as there were employees at the agency. They have found fields on computers that say, where is this payment being made to, and to whom is it being made for what? And those fields are empty. They've never been filled out. Money's outgoing. We don't know where it's going. And it is not, it's the worst of business practices, and it's happening with billions of taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, I was reading that there were like more than 4 million credit cards or something, and there were 2.5 or 3 million people working in government. How's that possible? People had dual credit cards, and then they were using those credit cards for what? Transportation and trips and things like that?
That's just it, Maria. We don't know. When I was state treasurer in Wyoming, the auditors would come into my office at the end of every fiscal year, and they were there for 3 months because I managed all the money in the state of Wyoming. We don't do that in the federal government, and there's absolutely no excuse for the irresponsible handling of U.S. taxpayer dollars. That's what Elon Musk is looking at.
Yeah.
He is finding waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's extensive.
Unbelievable.
It's extensive, without question. You know, those are the buzzwords. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We're going to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. And then when they finally go to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse, you got people like this. Arrest them. You know, you got them singing songs like, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Folks, I love Doge. I think I'm going to get a tattoo that says, I'm with the Doge. What do you think? Should I do it? Comment below. Now, the implications of what Doge is uncovering cannot be overstated. When Senator Loomis said Doge is finding things that any business should have under control, but the federal government does not, she hit the nail right on the head. It's not just about government inefficiency. It's about deliberate corruption designed to funnel taxpayer money into the pockets of the global elite. And Musk is now questioning everything from federal workers' productivity to how our money is spent overseas. When he tweets about auditing Ukraine, you can practically hear the panic in the corridors of Washington, D.C. The shadowy system of NGOs, foreign aid, and government contracts that has entrenched the elite for decades is finally being exposed. Oh, thank you. So here's a question. Do you think that Musk and Doge will be allowed to continue this work, or will the deep state find a way to shut them down? Drop a comment. Make sure you grab some MAG Avengers gear featuring Ron Paul and Elon Musk. It's an exclusive in our merch shop. And show your support. It's linked down below.